Hello, my name is Ilya Savitsky. I'm student of primary education English, Group 41. I'm studying in Chortkiv, Precarpatський University, and my topic is teaching speaking. Speaking is one of the most difficult skills language learners have to face. In spite of this, it has traditionally been forced into the background, while we teachers of English have spent all our classroom time trying to teach our students how to write, to read, and sometimes even to listen and learn too, because grammar has a long written tradition. For most people, the ability to speak a language is synonymous with knowing the language. Nevertheless, speaking in a second or foreign language have often been viewed as the most demanding of the four skills. In speaking classes, students must be exposed to three key items. First, form-focused instruction, that is, attention to detail of pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and so forth. Second, meaning-focused instruction, that is, opportunities to product meaningful spoken message with real communicative purposes. And third, opportunities to improve fluency. Elements of all of the above should be present throughout a speaking program, with emphasis on form-focused instruction at the elementary levels and the learner's progress on meaning-focused instruction at the higher levels. Form-focused speaking: when learners first begin to speak another language, their speaking will need to be based on some form-focused learning. An effective way to begin is to speaking on some useful, simple, memorized phrases and sentences. This may be greetings, simple personal descriptions, and simple questions and answers. The teacher can use the following activities. For example, repetition drills. The teacher says a phrase or sentences several times and then asks learners to repeat. Some learners can be called on to repeat individually, and then a repetition practice in beginning level courses, as the teacher needs to find ways of varying repetition activities to keep the learners interested. Another one, role play. One another way of getting students to speak in role playing: students pretend they are a various social contexts and have a variety of social roles. In role play activities, the teacher gives information to the learners, such as who they are and what they think or feel. Picture narrating. This activity is based on several sequential pictures. Students are asked to tell the story taking place in the sequential pictures by paying attention to the criteria provided by the teacher as a rubric. Rubrics can include the vocabulary or structures they need to use while narrating. Meaning-focused speaking. In addition to form-focused speaking, language learners should also be exposed and given opportunities to practice and use meaning-focused communication, in which they must both product and listen to meaningful oral communication. For this purpose, participation activities may be helpful. These are activities where the students participate in some communicative activity. The following are the examples of such activities. Like guided discussion, the instructor provides a brief orientation to some problem or controversial topic, usually by means of a short reading. Students in small groups discuss the topic, suggesting possible solutions, resolutions, or complications. Interview. In it, the student becomes oral journalists, interviewing their acquaintances about some meaningful or memorable aspects of their lives. There exist two forms of speaking, monologue and dialogue. Each form has its peculiarities, which should be taken into consideration. Teaching monologue. Monologue is the speech of one person who expresses his thoughts and feelings in a particular situation and shows his definite conclusion. Monologue is a generally prepared speech. The speakers even may have the plan of his speech. Sometimes it can be unprepared as well. Of great importance are the speakers have logical pauses, the speed of speech, and the gestures. Teaching monologue, three stages are distinguished: the statement level, the utterance level, the discourse level. At statement level, the smallest speech and unit in sentences. No speech is possible until pupils learn how to make up sentences in the foreign language and how to make statements on the topic or situation suggestions. Patterns level. Having assimilated different sentences patterns, the pupils should learn to combine statements of various sentences patterns in a logical sequences in a utterance. In the utterance level, the pupils are to say a few words about an object and subject referred. At this stage, pupils learn to express their thoughts, attitude to what they say. Discourse level. When pupils have acquired habits and skills in making statements and combining in a logical sequences, free speech is possible. At this level, pupils are asked to speak on a picture, film, or comment on a text they have read or heard, make up a story of their own. The teacher should supply the pupils with what to speak about. Dialogue. Dialogue is a conversation between two interlocutors. It is always situational and emotionally colored. Dialogue is generally unprepared. Sometimes it can be both prepared and planned as well. While teaching dialogue, we should use pattern dialogues in 3 stages. Receptive. Pupils listen to the dialogue once or twice, record or reproduce it by the teacher. Then they read it silently for better understanding. The teacher helped them in completion of the dialogue using pictures. Second, reproduction. 3 kinds of reproduction must be underlined: immediate, delayed, modified. These 2 of types aim to store up the patterns in pupils' memory for expressing themselves in the different situations. And the third, constructive or creative. Pupils are given a picture of situation and they make up their own dialects. It's a great variety of dialect structures. Here main 4 let response units which should be taught in school within the topic and linguistic material the syllabus requires. First, question response. What's your name? Anne. Second, statement of question. I'm going to the theater tonight. Where did you get the tickets? Third, statement. I'd like to know when he's going to come and see you. That's difficult to say. He's promising, but. 4. Question. Will you help me? What shall I do? Dialogue activities not only acquired expression is supported, but also the appropriate use of language forms in specific social contexts. Therefore, the learners should take into consideration who is speaking to whom, about what, for what purpose, and where and when. Dialects can be used in many ways in a classroom. Here are a few suggestions for using dialects in the classroom. To introduce new vocabulary and help students become familiar with standard formulas used when discussing various topics. As a gap, feel exercised for students as a listening exercise. Use dialects for role plays. Have students write dialects to test key vocabulary and language formulas. Have students memorize simple dialects as a way of helping them improve their vocabulary skills, and ask students to finish a dialogue. To teach speaking. Speaking is the most demanding skill for the teachers because it is rather doubtful to involve children into conversation when they know some words and structures or nothing of the English language. It is important that pupils leave their first lesson with some target language. It is useful to begin teaching with simple greetings and introduction. For example, good morning, hello, what's your name? My name is. They listen to the first teacher's instructions. We can use them in their speech. Sit down, stand up, for example. As this type of English is repeated at each lesson, children learn it quickly and use in every speech. To provide the basic for the first speaking activities, it is necessary to teach vocabulary for simple concepts such as name of classroom objects, colors, numbers, for example. Having learned these words, children may they use them in the structured patterns of the kind find a pen, take it, take this pen, for example. Elementary learners and beginners requires recycling of the language's material. Therefore, the teacher provides the learners with opportunities to practice it first separately through pre-communicative activities which follow presentation and consist of drills and questions answers practice. It is essential that they recycle this language very frequently, so they do not forget the material of the previous lessons. As soon as pupils have mastered the presented patterns, they can use them in the controlled conversation. There are different controlled activities which are interesting for pupils and provide the basic and oral work. Their purpose is correct, simple, useful language within the context. Structures or patterns should be present and practiced in the appropriate order, which enables the learners in very short period of time to give instruction, describe single object, to make up short dialogue, participate in role play and other activities. Guided practice gives the pupil some sort of choices, which is sometimes rather limited. For example, to talk about themselves, the pupils may change model dialects. To carry out this task, they use vocabulary and structures learned beforehand. Topic-centered work. Topic-centered teaching is one of the ways of organized teaching around a selected topic. The emphasis of the lesson is on a certain subject and language objective are interrogated with content study. Learners are more motivated if their attention is attracted to the topic they are interested in. Pupils feel frustrated if the material is not interesting for them. Working on a topic helps the children to associate new vocabulary and structures with a particular topic and to memorize it. It is easier to teach vocabulary which belongs to one area. Topic-centered work allows the teachers to go into a subject in depth. Besides, the content of the lesson becomes more important than the language itself, and that provides a communicative basics for language learning. Topic-centered activities may be based on stories or texts and include the development of all the language skills. Correction in speaking activities. Some learners may experience difficulty in pronouncing certain sounds and groups of sounds in another language, but giving too much attention to the correction of pronunciation in early stages of language learnings can make learners worried and reluctant to speak because of fear of making errors. It is worth thinking about why errors occur, because this can help teachers decide what to do about them. The study of errors and their causes is called error analysis. We suggest some solution for the teachers what to do in cases of speaking errors. First, the learner makes an error because he or she has not observed the form correctly. Second, the learner makes an error because of nervousness. Third, the learner makes an error because the activity is difficult, that is, there are many things she has to think about during the activity. Fourth, the learner makes an error because the activity is confusing. Use a tongue twister for instance, the for pronunciation can be confusing. Fifth, the learner makes an error because he or she using patterns from the native language instead of the patterns from the touch language. And for the last one, sixth, the learner makes an error because he or she has been copying incorrect models. This range of causes shows that the teacher should not rush into error correction, but should consider whether the error is worth the interruption, and if it is, the teacher should consider possible causes and then think of appropriate ways of dealing with these errors.